What a week. What is up, everybody? Guess who's back?
Guess who's back?
Back again. So, yes, sadly, our boy did not win. But goddamn was it close. So if you haven't heard the news yet, Brandon Herrera sadly is not going to be the representative for Texas District 23. Yes. Deep state money and all of the establishment shills did come out to bat for Ernie Gonzales, and they only won by 400 votes. Yeah, our boy Brandon came within 1% with no political career prior, just a bunch of memes and shit posting. Almost got this guy the election. Well, that and actually having a spine. Now, if you didn't catch it, we had probably what I'm going to consider the craziest watch party ever on this channel. Here's a highlight.
Good.
Everybody, I want to welcome Brandon Herrera to the stream. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry to cut you off, Dalton and Renegade.
No, you're good.
Outstanding.
The man
We'll
himself.
happily stand by here.
Brandon, how's it going?
It is a pleasure to finally get to talk to you guys. Big fan of a lot of your work, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, man himself came on. That doesn't tell you anything about transparency in politics, then I don't know what the hell does. Now, while Brandon is not going to be the representative for District 23, he did prove something. Brandon showed everybody that the establishment can bleed and should be scared. For those who are not in my Discord or the Pepperbox Discord or within the same kind of communities, let me give you some insight. The amount of anti-government, anti-establishment talk post this election has reached all-time highs. Things that I have seen only once before, and that was during the 2020 election. That should tell you something. One look at any of the media sites right now about this election, and it shows that not only are the establishment shitting their pants, but even the media is shitting their pants because it showed them as shills for the most part. Not all of them. There was some good coverage. Actually, KSAT did a really great interview with Brandon. I'm going to give them props here. I think that it was fair. Now, there are a lot of people that I see that are very doom and gloomy, right? Now, I do believe that there is a time for doom and gloom, but this is not it.
But it is not this day.
I want you to understand that a man with no political history whatsoever behind him, with very limited resources, I believe that Brandon had 1.3 million to 1.5, somewhere around there at his disposal. I want you to compare that to Ernie, who had 10 plus million.
I said earlier, he spent hundreds of thousands of other people's dollars to be called Salsa Boy for free.
Most of which was from super PACs and deep state money. And when I say deep state, I mean huge, essentially special interest groups that have decided to shove their fist inside of his butt and say, take our money and do as we say. Otherwise, we're going to tell your wife all the naughty things you've been up to. Which is really funny considering that we found out some stuff about Ernie. You know all those jokes that people made about Ernie's wife having a boyfriend? Turns out it was the other way around. Apparently, Ernie's been sliding his little Smokey inside of something that he ought not slide it into. Allegedly. Still. But remember, bastion of conservatism. Was this a true loss? It was a loss in the sense, of course, that we do not have Brandon Herrera in Congress representing not only District 23, but also kind of giving the middle finger to every establishment shill that is there. The other biggest loss is obviously the fact that Ernie now gets his pension. He gets all of his retirement benefits that should not fucking exist in the first place because government's not meant to be a career, especially on the back of taxpayers. But that's where the losses end. The victories are the establishment now knows that they are vulnerable. The media now has exposed their hand even further for how much they are willing to shill for said establishment. Ernie's marriage being on the rocks. And of course, Ernie's entire policy, position, and dirty laundry has been aired for his opponent in the general. This has exposed the establishment as not only corrupt, but complicit in each other's corruption. And people have taken notice. I've taken notice. Every single person I've seen in the communities that I am a part of, which, mind you, have like thousands and thousands of members, many of which did vote, mind you. So don't say, oh, but they didn't vote. Yes, they did. But they have stood up and said, oh, we're not playing this game anymore. I've seen many people flat out say that they are not going to vote for Ernie in the general. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. In the end, we have to remember, this was an uphill battle from the start. You have Brandon, a man who is a small business owner, a YouTuber, literally fighting an incumbent, which is difficult by itself. Not only that, a well-funded incumbent with tons of money at his disposal and tons of little strings that he can pull to get some friends to come to bat for him. And he still almost lost. 400 votes. To put that in perspective, that's about 1%.
Even if he pulls this off, let's say he wins, he's got to walk into D.C. and show his face around the people he begged for money from that he spent $10 million to get within, let's say, 200 votes of a YouTuber.
I still really wish we got to see Ernie cry, but at the same time, it would really fuck up his mascara. Now, remember that watch party I told you about?
I fixed it. My booty shorts, they're technically my wife's. By demand, I've got my Stetson. It's gonna come off because I have to wear the headset.
After that, my voice was completely shot. I actually took a day to potato.
Potatoes.
And during that day to potato, I actually realized I needed a couple days to potato. Now, content is resuming. My exhaustion is probably nothing compared to Brandon's exhaustion. I do understand the calls for everybody saying, why hasn't he made a statement? Is he demanding a recount? Now, to answer a couple of these questions, I do not believe that Texas has mandated recounts. I believe that you can request one at cost, provided that you fall within the threshold of a recount. I believe that the threshold had been met, but I also believe that Brandon gets to make that final say. And I don't believe that he's asking for the recount. I think that he would, and I think he has said he would, provided that he saw that that might actually make a change in the result. But let's just be real. The man is probably wiping some sweat off his fucking forehead and saying, oh, thank God I don't have to do that. Remember, he didn't want to be in politics. Remember, the guy that you want to have the power is the guy who doesn't want it in the first place because he is far less likely to abuse it. We've seen what Ernie does with power. We've seen what everybody else does with it. It really was about time that we, just try to dude. But, But I want everybody here to realize that this is not a loss in totality. I even tweeted at Brandon saying that even though he didn't actually make it to Congress, that he is not the representative, that he showed that a God King can bleed. And we all know how that turns out. I've also seen a lot of people asking if there will be another big live stream event like this. If you don't know, the presidential debates are going to be coming up this month on the 27th, I believe. I will put it in the description. I will. And we might have a special guest or two on there. So, stay tuned and stuff. Now, whether or not we're quoting historical accuracy here, let us not be the Greeks that laid down their arms. Let us be the Greeks that avenged the king. Remember, Metal album is coming out on July 4th. Yeah, there's a song on it called Tyrant. I wonder who that's about.
Decisions flow above the night. The halls of God with satellite. The blood of time which is the land. In this war we make no stand.